Pearls in the kitchen today. Yeah, I've been watching a little bit too much TV, and I decided, you know what? If Julia Child and Donna Reed can cook and clean wearing their pearls, well, why can't I? So today I'm making what I call Susan's special chicken salad while wearing pearls. Why not? Thanks for joining me today on Susan's Cozy Kitchen. Today, let's get started. First, the chicken. If we're grilling chicken during the summer, I'll ask my husband to throw a couple of extra chicken breasts on the grill so that I can chop that up later to make chicken salad. During the winter, I end up boiling my chicken to get it cooked, nice and tender and ready to go. You can also use canned chicken if you want to take that shortcut, or even rotisserie chicken, leftover chicken from possibly a baked chicken, however you want to do it. Also, I always do chicken breast, but if you want to do thighs, that works too. So whatever piece of chicken you like is the piece of chicken to use in this. Now that we've got that clear, let's start with the chicken. I've already put water in my pot, and I'm going to put in 2 fairly decent sized chicken breasts. It should come out to about 2 cups of meat when it's cooked and chopped. To this, I'm going to add bouillon cube. I like to really flavor my chicken, so I'm going to put 2 chicken bouillon cubes into the pot. Because I've put bouillon cubes in here, I'm not going to add any other seasoning to my chicken except for some of my dried chopped onions. I'll put about a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of the dehydrated chopped onion in here. So just sprinkling that in. 1.5 teaspoons. Because I'm going to be right here chopping and getting everything else ready while the chicken's cooking, I'm going to put this on my gas stove back behind me, so I'll be right back with you in just a second. The first thing I like to do is chop the fruit. So I'm going to get started with my apple, and I'm going to show you a quick, easy way to do the apple. Now I've cut it in half, and now I'm going to cut it into quarters, and then I'm going to go in and on a diagonal, I'm going to slice across there, and that gets out the core of the apple. Quick, easy, 1 slice, and done. Look how easy that is. I've been using that for several years now, and I absolutely love that trick. It makes cutting an apple so much easier. Now I'm going to cut thin strips of the apple. So each quarter I've cut into 4 slices, and now I'm going to cut just small pieces of apple. There we are. You see how tiny those are? Tiny, tiny pieces. And into my bowl. And I'm just going to repeat that same thing with the other 3 pieces. 1 small apple diced into little bitty pieces. Now I have 14, I did count these, I have 14 grapes that I'm going to cut. And I'm going to cut that in half, and then I'm going to cut the half into 3 pieces. So I'll end up with 6 pieces total, and I will continue cutting my grapes into 6 pieces until I've cut all 14. Grapes and apple are cut. I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of mayo into the fruit now to keep the apple from turning dark. So there's a 1/4 cup. I don't use a lot of mayo in my chicken salad. This might actually end up being enough mayonnaise. Like a good Southerner, I use Duke's, but you can use whatever mayo is your favorite. And these are my special pecans from Tennessee from my parents' farm. I think anything I make with these pecans is automatically better just because my parents had a little hand in it. The chicken's starting to boil, so it won't be a lot longer for that. So let's keep going with everything here. Next up, my 1/4 cup of pecans. I have a lovely piece of equipment here from Pampered Chef. It's a chopper, and it's so easy to use. You just pop the things that you want to chop underneath and do this a few times. And that, in just a few hits, chop these nice and small. So, and go my 1/4 cup of nuts. Let's give that a stir. Next, some onion. While I do like onion in my chicken salad, I don't want so much that it's absolutely offensive, but I do want enough to be flavorful. This is half of a sweet onion, and I'm going to cut that in half again. So I'll have a 1/4 of an onion. I'm going to chop this nice and thin. This is just kind of diced up, not extremely fine, but small enough. You know, you don't want to get a big piece of onion, but you want to be able to taste it. One-1/4 of an onion into the bowl. Stir that in. The next thing coming to the party is a stalk of celery. Trim off those ends. And then I like to cut it in half, and then I like to cut each of those pieces in half, because I don't like big chunks of celery, but a small bite of celery is nice. So 4 pieces, and I'm just going to slice this as thinly as I can. And now the celery. And now, a trick I learned from a friend of mine named Stephanie, who makes incredible chicken salad. Her secret ingredient, ranch dressing mix. I use a tablespoon of the mix. There we are. And now to that, I'm also going to add some of the bottled. I use 2 tablespoons. And I like to do this because it helps to flavor the mayo, and then I like adding the liquid ranch just for that extra creaminess. The next thing I like to do, some pepper. Some turns of freshly ground pepper. Freshly ground pepper, I'll say it right, into it. And that's everything that I put in my chicken salad except for the chicken, which is still cooking. So while we're waiting on the chicken, I'm going to cover this and put it in the refrigerator. I'll let the chicken finish cooking, and then once it cools down a bit, I'll start chopping that and add to the bowl. Okay, the chicken has finished cooking. It's cooled, so I am going to start chopping it up. I like to remove any fat or skin that I see on it before I get started. So sometimes after you've cooked it, it just wants to shred apart, and if it does, then I shred it. Otherwise, I try to chop it into nice, tiny pieces. It's almost like it's diced. So yeah, I cut it into thin strips like this, very thin. So I cut it all the way down one side, and I'm just going to turn and cut this way. I'm almost cutting the chicken the same size as the pieces of apple. I'm going to put the chicken into a measuring cup so that I know how much chicken I have. Said this is about 2 cups. Once it's all cut up, I just want to make sure that that's how much chicken I have. And the first breast did give me about a cup. And I'm going to do the same thing with this piece of chicken that I did with the first. I'm going to slice nice thin slices and then go back and give it a nice little dice. Okay, I have all the chicken in here, and I have 2 cups of chicken. If you have a little more, that's fine. If you have a little less, that's okay, but around 2 cups of chicken is what you want. Now I'm going to stir this into all of the other stuff. So this is done. It's 2 o'clock. I've not had any lunch. So this is going to be my early afternoon snack, just something to get me through to dinner. So I'll be right back once I get that fixed. Okay, here it is, all plated and ready to eat. Just some Ritz crackers and my chicken salad. Let's give it a try. So the chicken is nice and tender. You get that little bite from the onion and a little hint of the celery. The apple and the grape give it that nice sweetness. And then there's just that undertone of ranch dressing in there that just elevates it to another level. And as always, the full recipe is in the description box below. Also, you'll find my links for social media. Please, if you haven't already followed me, please do. I'd love to connect with you there. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure and give it a big thumbs up. If you've not already, please do subscribe. While you're there, hit the notification bell so that you find out every time I upload a new video to YouTube. Thanks for joining me today. God bless.